Yesterday, the entire Outlander fan community was overwhelmed with emotion when Sam Heughan unexpectedly posted a series of rare photos from the final script reading with Caitriona Balfe. These images not only marked an important milestone in the nearly decade-long journey of the legendary show, but also brought fans to tears because of the friendship and special bond between these two stars. The first photo Sam shared was the moment he and Caitriona sat across from each other. On the table was a thick script with the words "Final Table Read, Outlander." Both were smiling, but their eyes were filled with indescribable nostalgia. Sam briefly captioned, "A moment I will never forget. We started this journey together, and now, this is the last page." Immediately, thousands of comments flooded the post. Fans everywhere wrote, "I am crying looking at these photos. Thank you Sam and Caitriona for giving us such a beautiful love story." Images that made millions choke up. Sam didn't stop at just one photo, but shared a series of accompanying photos. One photo shows Caitriona leaning over to whisper something to Sam, making him laugh in the middle of the reading. Another shows the two holding hands after the meeting ended, as an emotional goodbye. The last photo in particular made everyone speechless. Caitriona placed her hand on Sam's shoulder, both looking at each other with grateful eyes. No words were spoken, but that photo contained everything: the bond, the friendship, and the sadness of having to end a long journey. Sam wrote under that photo, "We laughed, we cried, we went through so many challenges together. Words cannot express how grateful I am for her, the best companion I have ever had." Caitriona responded with an emotional message. Not keeping her best friend waiting long, Caitriona quickly shared a series of photos of Sam on her personal Instagram with the status, "Can't believe this is the last time. Sam, you have always been an important part of my life. Thank you for all the unforgettable years." In just a few hours, the two's posts received millions of likes and comments. Many fans admitted that they burst into tears as soon as they saw these images. One account wrote, "I never thought I would cry over a movie, but the friendship between the two of you really touched me." Behind the scenes of the final script reading, according to a source from the film crew, the final script reading took place in a very special atmosphere. Not only Sam and Caitriona, the entire cast and crew were present. When reading the last lines, many people could not hold back their tears. Sam and Caitriona hugged for a long time, a hug that held 10 years of memories. A crew member revealed, "Sam didn't say much, but I saw his eyes turn red the whole time. Caitriona kept holding his hand every time there was an important scene. There was a connection between them that everyone could feel." What did the fans say? On Twitter, the hashtag #ThankYouSam and Kate became a global trend in just a few hours. A series of fans posted souvenir photos from the seasons, along with loving messages. "Jamie and Claire are just characters, but Sam and Caitriona are the soul of Outlander. We will remember this moment forever. Thank you for giving us a love that transcends time." Sam's final message melts fans. At the end of the post, Sam left a short but touching message that made millions of hearts flutter. "It's not goodbye, but a promise to see you again, somewhere, in another story. Outlander may be coming to an end, but the friendship and bond between Sam Heughan and Caitriona Balfe will forever remain in the hearts of fans." And tonight, when we look back at those photos, we can only whisper, "Thank you for giving us a beautiful era." Behind the scenes of the final reading, an unforgettable moment. Morning sunlight filtered through the large glass windows of the conference room as the Outlander crew members entered one by one. There was something different about the atmosphere today. Everyone felt the heaviness in their hearts, although smiles were still on their lips. On the long table, scripts were neatly arranged, each bearing the words, "Final Table Read, Season Finale." Sam Heughan was one of the first to arrive. He wore a simple white shirt, but no one could ignore his slightly red eyes, a sign that he had not slept well last night. He sat down in his usual chair, his hands gently flipping through the script pages, as if trying to memorize each last line. A few minutes later, Caitriona Balfe appeared. Still with her usual elegant appearance, she walked in with a slight smile, but her eyes contained a deep sadness. When she caught Sam's gaze, she nodded slightly and approached, placing her hand on his shoulder. "Ready?" Her voice was soft. Sam looked up, smiling. "Never ready, but we have to." They sat side by side, as they had for nearly a decade, starting a new chapter together, but this time, the last. The script pages were heavy with emotion. As the reading began, the room seemed to quiet down. The director's voice rang out, "We're going from beginning to end. Let the emotions be as natural as possible." And then, Sam began to read Jamie Fraser's first lines. The familiar tone brought back memories of the first season. Caitriona sat beside her, her eyes glistening with tears, but she remained professional, reading Claire's lines with emotion. When it came to the pivotal scene where Jamie and Claire parted ways, Sam paused for a beat longer than usual. He took a deep breath, his voice hoarse. "Claire, I will always love you. Even if the world changes." Not only Caitriona, but the entire crew sitting around the table could not hold back their tears. One of the crew shared later, "It felt like we were witnessing something beyond acting. It was real, from their hearts." Caitriona held Sam's hand under the table, a small gesture but enough to calm him down enough to continue reading. It was not a line, it was a silent encouragement from a companion of nearly a decade. The final moment, no longer acting. When the last line of the script was read, the room fell silent. No one spoke for a few seconds, just the sound of pages turning and sighs of regret. And then, applause broke out, but not in joy, but in gratitude for a long journey. Sam stood up first, looking around the room, his eyes stopping on Caitriona. He stepped forward, opening his arms. She didn't hesitate, rushing into his embrace. No words were spoken in that moment, but everyone understood. It was the embrace of two souls who had gone through a long and challenging journey together. Some of the crew burst into tears. The camera didn't capture all the emotions, but those present confirmed, it was one of the most beautiful moments in the entire filmmaking process. Whispers that made fans sigh. Later, in a brief interview with Variety, Sam revealed, "She whispered something in my ear that I will always remember. Sam, thank you for everything. No one can be Jamie but you." He paused for a moment, smiling sadly. "I also told her, Kate, you will always be my Claire, in the show and in my heart." These words immediately went viral on social media, making the Outlander fan community choke up. After leaving that room, Sam said that after the reading ended, he did not leave immediately. He stood still for a moment, looking at the long table, the scripts, and even the chair where Caitriona had just sat. He took a photo he later posted on Instagram, with the caption, "It's not the end, just goodbye to the most beautiful chapter of my life." Caitriona chose to leave quietly, but before she stepped through the door, she turned back to look at him, smiling slightly. No words were spoken, but that look held everything. Fans and hashtags exploded. Soon after the photos and story were revealed, Twitter and Instagram exploded with the hashtags #OutlanderForever and #SamandKate. Fans from all over shared memorable moments from throughout the seasons, along with loving captions. "This is more than just a show. This is part of our youth. Jamie and Claire are forever, but Sam and Kate, they are real souls." A longtime fan wrote, "They say it's just acting, but I believe that to create such a great love story, there must be real feelings somewhere in their hearts." Sam's final message left everyone speechless. When asked if he had anything to say to his fans, Sam simply said, "Thank you for being with us. This story may be over, but the love you have for us will always be the motivation for me to continue. And as for Kate, she is always here, in a corner of my heart." Perhaps, this is not only a message to his fans, but also a secret message to the woman who has written one of the most beautiful stories on screen with him.